What the heck do you think you're doing at my wedding right now, Francine? A lame little shut-in loser like you has got some serious nerve trying to show her face around here on my special day. Excuse me? What in the world are you talking about right now, Emma? I seriously just can't even believe you right now. I mean, you weren't even invited, and yet you decided to just crash my wedding? What made you think doing something like this was okay? Did you hit your head or something like that? Seriously, what is your deal? Wait, no, hold on a second. I really am confused as to what you're talking about. I mean, the only reason I came here was precisely because I was invited. In fact, I had no idea you were going to be the bride at all. Oh, please, do you expect me to believe that? Of course you knew it was my wedding. The real question is how you knew it was happening here when you weren't even invited. But honestly, if you thought that you were going to get out of this with a lie like that, you've got another thing coming. But I'm telling you that I really was invited here. I got my invitation in the mail and everything. It's just that my invitation was sent by the groom of the wedding, who must be Xavier, the man you're going to marry. Wait a second, you're telling me that my fiancé Xavier invited some weird little nobody like you to our wedding? Why in the world would he want some loser like you here with us? I mean, doesn't he realize that we're so far above you? Xavier had great grades in class, makes a ton of money now, and he might as well be a supermodel. Now, you explain to me what he was thinking inviting a nobody like you here. But I don't really know what else to say. I really did get an invitation to be here. You need to stop all this lying at once. You just found out that this was happening and wanted to sneak your way in, didn't you? You must have known that at my wedding it was only going to be beautiful and successful people allowed in. Which means that you must be here just to try and flirt with men. Wait, what? You can't really think that, right? Of course that's not what's going on. You've got this all wrong. I don't care what you have to say, you are still single, aren't you? And to think that you could have found someone if you'd just listened to me back then. Back then? Emma, what do you mean by that? Oh, come on, have you really forgotten? You know, high school prom? When they announced prom king and queen, you know what they say about that, right? That the winners always end up getting married to each other. I tried to give you a nice spa day so that you might have even had the slightest chance, remember? Oh, I remember what you're talking about now. If I can be honest, that was one of the worst days of all of high school. For you, maybe. But I guess I didn't do a good job because you're still single. I mean, that's the whole reason why I wanted to help you back then in the first place, but no matter how much I tried, nothing could fix how ugly you really were. And I suppose that's why I ended up being voted as prom queen. Meanwhile, everyone in the audience was laughing at you because of how ridiculous you ended up looking. Well, you remember things very differently from me. I remember not even wanting to go, but you practically forced me to sign up. Then, I remember you saying you were going to give me a makeover and you only finished with minutes to go before the winners were announced. By the time I let you have your way with me, I looked like a clown with all the makeup you put on me. And you used that old urban legend about the prom king and queen getting married to convince me to tell that year's prom king that I had a crush on him. It sounds to me like that's all your fault for letting me manipulate you so much. You really need to take more responsibility for your actions. Besides, think of all the funny memories you have to look back on now. Well, I didn't even have to open my mouth to be rejected by him, but he did it in front of the whole auditorium of people. It was one of the most horrible and saddest days of my entire life. Oh, come on. Surely you've had worse days of your life since then, right? I mean, this is a pretty low point for you, sneaking into a wedding you weren't invited to and all. I feel like you'd have to have sunken quite low to sneak into a wedding to look for a man. You must really, really be desperate. Are you kidding me? You really haven't changed at all since high school, have you? Why change something that's already perfect? But the fact of the matter is that you don't belong here. I never asked for any fat little piggies to be at my wedding, so why don't you run along and go back to your sty, I'm afraid we have a strict no fishing policy, so pack up whatever you thought you were going to use to get men and turn around. You are going to regret this. You can't keep treating people like this and get away with it. Excuse me? Did you seriously just talk back to me right now? How dare you? Don't you remember what happened in high school? There you go again, talking as if high school is the be-all end-all of everything. Up until today, I had moved past all the horrible times I had in high school. Here I thought you might have changed too, and we could talk as adults, but I see that you're just as terrible as you've always been. But you're going to learn a harsh lesson about treating people with respect. How dare some ugly little loser talk to me like this? You think I need to sit here and take this from you? I want you out of here right this instant. If you're not gone in 30 seconds, I am going to call the police and have you dragged out of here.
Miss Bellevue, I heard that you went home early? Did something happen? Is everything okay? Is it trouble at work or something like that?
Hello, Xavier. I thought I told you to call me Francine when we're outside of work. But anyways, I have some things I need to attend to, but thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. Did something happen? Did I do something wrong?
No, it isn't you at all. Anyways, I really should be leaving now. But please stop by my office and show me pictures of the rest of the wedding later.
I'm still really confused, but if it's a personal matter that you don't want to talk about, I respect that.
I really don't know where this company would be if it didn't have a VP like you looking over it. You always know just what to say, you know that?
I appreciate it, boss, but you're the one who's really at the wheel. And I guess I'm just a bit down because I wanted to introduce you to my fiancé. Do you think you could stay for a little bit while longer, please? At the very least, you have to take a bag of goodies that we have for the guests.
Sure that that's okay, even though I'm leaving early?
Of course. I mean, we already prepared enough for all who are going to be here, so there's one for you already. I was actually up all night last night making sure that these were perfect. So all these gifts are done by hand.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I really can't wait to see what's inside then, but if it's something you made by hand, I'll be sure to cherish it. I am just so sorry that I'm having to head out of here so early.
Well, I'm just glad that you were able to attend at all. It really is the thought that counts anyway, you know? But just stay put. I'm going to run out of the changing room really quickly to give you the gift bag in person. I'll be right there, so don't leave yet, okay?
Hey, Emma, you're still a part of the group chat with everyone from high school, right? Well, you might want to go and check out what's going on in there. I put in the chat that you showed up without even being invited, and now all kinds of people are talking bad about you. You mean there are people who still use that chat? I removed myself from that group the day we graduated high school. You know, this is why people always thought that you were some kind of awkward little nerd, you know that? It's no wonder you hardly had any friends at all throughout high school. You can only blame yourself for that, though. Well, I see that you really haven't invited anyone at all from our high school days to your wedding, so it's not just a me problem, is it? Oh, come on. You know that all the other people we used to hang out with just ended up getting lame normal jobs. They're all just average. You really think I want my wedding being stuffed up with the stench of mediocrity? No, I'm sorry, but this wedding has a little thing called standards. So no, they weren't getting an invitation either. So you really didn't invite anyone from back then at all, and you still are sending them messages? You do realize just how successful and handsome and amazing my husband is, right? Did you know that he's also starting his own business, too? He's literally the perfect man, and if I invited anyone from high school, they would just spend the whole wedding crying out of jealousy. Either that, or they'd all think like you and just come here looking for men to flirt with. So that's why I didn't invite anyone from back then. And to think that it would have been the perfect chance for you to brag to all of us about your wedding in person. Then again, I guess you really don't care as long as you're looking down on others. You really just don't get how things work, do you? But then what else can I really expect from such a sad little loser like you? I'm not looking down on you. I just happen to know where I am relative to you. That's all. You really are a piece of work. Do you know that, Emma? I don't care what you have to say to me, because the fact of the matter is that I'm going to marry Xavier, and that's that. I'm going to be the successful entrepreneur, and you're getting nothing. My boyfriend can do anything and is going to be the top of his company. No one is ever going to be able to look down on him, and by extension, me. You say that, but do you even know what it is that your husband does for a living? It sounds to me like you don't even really care as long as it makes you enough money to give you the life that you want. Well, no duh. Why would I need to know anything more about what he does than how much money he makes? After all, my only job is to stand there and look pretty for him. It really doesn't matter to me one bit how he makes his money. I just have to be there and cheer him on in order to earn my keep. I guess maybe this is all a bit too much for you to wrap your head around, though. You really just don't know when to quit, do you, Emma? I just mean that if you could have found a man by now, you would have, don't you think? Instead, you have to come here desperately looking for someone to have you. It really is sad when you think about it, but the fact is that you're never going to have a family of your own. You're going to be lonely for the rest of your life.
And just what makes you say that about my boss, huh?
Wait, what? What do you mean? Who is your boss?
I mean that you're saying all these horrible things about my boss and my friend. But I guess I might have just let myself be taken in with your charms, and that's how I agreed to marry you. You must be quite good at getting close to people by making them think you're someone who you really aren't. But now I know exactly how you feel about me in this marriage.
Wait a second, I am still so confused right now. Who am I talking to? This couldn't be... It's not Xavier, is it?
Of course it is. And I heard from Francine that she was leaving our wedding early to go and take care of some business. I went out to go and give her one of the gift bags I made before she left, and that's when she told me what really happened. How could you try and do this to my boss?
Hold on a second. You mean to tell me that Francine is actually your boss, and she's the friend you started your company with?
You have it backwards there. Francine started the company and invited me on board to work as VP.
Wait, what? You mean that you two knew each other even before working together? But I didn't even know that you started your company with a girl. I thought it was a guy friend.
And just why would that matter at all in the first place? I came to work with Francine because I know she has a great mind for business. I'm just shocked to hear all of these horrible things that you've been saying about her, though.
There's been some kind of mistake here, really. I had no idea that she was your boss or anything like that. I didn't even know that you two were friends before this. I mean, what in the world is someone like you doing being friends with her?
Oh, give me a break. You know that Francine and I are friends. I told you that I was going to be inviting her to our wedding. Don't you know how much she's done for me? Not just professionally, but in my personal life too?
Hold on a sec, I still don't even get how you two met in the first place.
Don't you remember in high school, when I won prom king? I think I had girls coming up to me multiple times a week begging me to go out with them. I know that people think I'm really handsome, and that must be great for me, but it's not that simple. It comes with a lot of pain too.
What do you mean? How could it be hard to be handsome?
So many people come up to you just to say they like you when you don't even know who these people are. Not just that, but to have to turn down so many people who wanted to go on a date with me. Don't you know how much that makes me feel guilty? And then, when I wouldn't find a girlfriend, people started accusing me of sleeping around with people since I was still single. It's just so many people assuming so much about my life when they don't even know me.
But, I mean, at least you're not ugly. That's a good thing. Surely you can see how being handsome is so much better, right? And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be getting married to a gorgeous woman like me.
You and every other gorgeous girl I've been with seem to have the same mindset. And anytime I've brought up these struggles to them, they always tell me to be thankful for what I have. All that tells me, though, is that I still haven't met someone who actually listens to what I have to say.
Hold on, I didn't know that this was such a big deal for you.
I was scared to love for so long because I was worried that people were falling in love with the idea of me, and not me for who I really am. It took me so long to want to be married, and so much of the credit for that goes to Emma, who was always there to talk to me and never asked anything from me in return. That's what a real friend does. She helped me remember what it means to trust people.
You don't really mean that, do you?
Of course! She's always giving me great advice and even after high school helped me step into myself. We also realized we had similar ambitions, and so when she started her company, she said it was a matter of course that I would be her VP pick.
But, I mean, I had no idea that someone like her would be your boss.
Well, you better start believing in it. Francine has easily put in the bulk of work to get us where we are. She's the brains behind the whole operations, and as the VP, she taught me how to use people's assumptions about me to my advantage.
I don't even know what to say to any of this right now.
Well, I'm not there yet. Francine told me all about what you put her through in high school, how horribly mean you were to her. I really had no idea at all that I was about to marry the person who traumatized Francine throughout high school. Well, I'm sorry, but I just can't marry a woman like you now that I know who you really are. Francine came here as my guest and you've been nothing but disrespectful to her and by extension me. I want to call the whole wedding off with you.
You don't really mean that, right? I mean, the ceremony's going to start in a matter of hours. Please, let's just calm down and talk about this, okay?
There's nothing more to talk about and I am perfectly calm. Anyways, I'm going to go break the news to everyone right now that the wedding is canceled. I don't know what you're going to do next, and frankly, I don't really care. Have a nice life, Emma.
In the end, Xavier managed to stop the wedding before things went too far and he and Emma ended up married. It was a huge shock for all of the guests, but Xavier had explained the situation to both sets of parents and they agreed to spread the news and explain things to the rest of the guests. Soon, however, everyone at the wedding venue knew what Emma had done and said to me. By then, however, Emma had run away from the wedding venue to avoid the humiliation of what was about to happen. She managed to talk her parents into letting her move back in with them, but they both gave her a stern talking to and expressed how disappointed they were with her. And since Emma had put all of her baskets into marrying Xavier, she was really left with few alternatives. She'd quit her job and already ended her apartment lease since she was planning on moving in with her then fiancé. Left with nothing and no one, Emma had to quickly take the first jobs that she could find in order to pay the rent to her parents, who told her they were not going to be letting her freeload off of them after her behavior at the wedding. I just hope that working a few service industry jobs really humbles Emma and helps her understand why it's wrong to look down at people. As for Xavier and I, things more or less went back to business as usual for us, as we continued on trying to build up our company. We have some interviews for the news and some magazines coming up, and I've asked Xavier if he could use his charms to help sell our company to the public. It took a long time, but I'm glad that Xavier is now comfortable enough with himself to make use of his own looks on his terms. Of course, he was very sad that his wedding didn't come to be, but he said that he was much more relieved that the two of them didn't end up married before he found out. We're still close friends, and Xavier knows that I'm there for him. But business stops for no one, and time is money. But just because the work doesn't stop, it doesn't mean I have to ignore my friend when he's hurting. Xavier may have lost his wedding, but our friendship is stronger than ever.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.